everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine. I am a singer and vocal coach who lives in LA. I also am a yodeler, and I've been teaching you guys a lot of yodeling lessons, but today we're going to do something more general for singing that's not focused on yodeling, but can apply to yodeling as well. This past week, I got a comment from Abhigian. I hope that I'm saying your name right. Please forgive me if I'm not, and feel free to correct me in the comments. Abhigian asks, I was wondering whether you would be interested in making more beginner-friendly videos about vocal tensions. I feel a lot of it in my jaw, neck, and tongue. Have tried a few exercises and I have eliminated tension with open vowels, but there's a problem while articulating consonants and words. It's basically like I can sing well with words and all, but everything feels tight after. I think that this is something that a lot of people can relate to. I love that you have the knowledge about open vowels already, and that you know your voice well, and that you even feel that you have vocal tension there, because a lot of us aren't even aware of what that is, what it feels like, and we don't really know that singing could feel any different. So today I want to talk about 4 different tips and tricks for you to get rid of all of that vocal tension once and for all. If you do these things, you will feel a difference right away, and I promise you that. Keep in mind that singing is a practice, and some things will tire you out over time, but you should never feel vocal tension right away when you start singing. So let's get started. Number 1, in my opinion, is actually the most important, because if you don't have this, then it's so much easier for your body to compensate up here with all of the tensions that you actually are feeling. And most of the time, you will feel the tension in your neck, and it's really gonna feel like this. No one wants to feel that, and a lot of people have just gotten so used to feeling a tight throat feeling while they're singing that they don't even know that singing could feel any different, but it can. Number 1 is to engage your core, to engage all of these muscles around here. In singing, we call this breath support. I'm going to quickly explain to you why we call it that and why it's so important. When we sing, we obviously need our breath. We need air to come through in order to produce sound. When we breathe, we just breathe in quickly and breathe everything out at once. We go in and out. So all the air comes in and comes right back out all in one go. When we sing, we have to pace our air. And when we aren't supporting our breath enough, which is what these muscles are doing because they are connected to the diaphragm and they help us pace or push out the last little bit of air that we have, if we don't have enough support down here, we will start compensating here, and we will feel like we need to push from here, or our jaw is subconsciously doing things that makes things really hard. I'm going to get into all of these other things up here with the other tips, but number 1 really focuses on these muscles down here because they're so important. So there's a few things you can do to engage these muscles down here. But before we go into that, let's actually feel into those muscles. So there's different muscle groups. Don't ask me what they're called because I don't know the muscle names, but I know that these are our abdominal muscles. The ones in the front, the ones on the side, and the ones on the back. All of these play a role. All of these are connected to the diaphragm. If you want to feel some of these muscles, you can either just really, if you can tighten this, just like someone's about to punch you in the stomach, you can do that. And you can put your hands here and cough so you can feel them. So you will feel the muscles going out a little bit. And the ones in the back, you use a lot when you pull something towards you. So you can pretend that you're pulling something and you will actually feel these muscles. I'm going to show you some exercises in just a little bit, but those are the muscles that we are talking about. And the easiest thing that you can do before you sing is actually warm up your body and warm up these muscles. You might find that after you do an exercise, or that after you do a full workout and your body is warmed up, you might find that singing is a lot easier. It's because all of your muscles are already warmed up and they are ready. A lot of times when we start singing, we are not. We might warm up our voice with certain singing exercises, but we didn't really warm up our body. There are certain singing exercises that are good to warm up this part of your body too. But even if you just actually do exercises that focus on these muscles without singing, that's a great way to warm them up. Go for a run, do some sit-ups, and really warm up your body. Your voice and your vocal folds will thank you. Now, there are specific exercises that you can do. One of them I'm going over in another video. It's the impulse breaths, as I call them, on hard consonants like p, t, k, s, sh, f. If you do a lot of these and you basically contract these muscles with them, that's a great warm-up. You can either go p, 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 and do one for a while, and then change to the next consonant. So you see my belly is really working here. That's a great exercise. Another great exercise is to hold out s or f or sh on a slow out breath. So you're breathing in, you're gonna put your hands here to push into your muscles. I think I also have this in another video. And then you just try to hold it as long as possible, and you can time yourself so you can see if you're actually improving on this. It's just one way to feel the muscles a little bit. So you breathe in and then or sh as long as you can. I'm not gonna do that right now because it's gonna take a long time, and you can do that by yourself. That's not very hard. Just make sure that you engage the muscles as you're running out of air, and that you try to go as slow and steady as you can. The other thing that I find really works well for my vocal students as we are singing, and I know that your comment specifically was about as you're singing with words and not just singing exercises on open vowels. As you're singing, this is something that you can do that will really help you, again, because it's engaging the muscles, and often we don't know how to engage them as we're singing. So holding out something heavy or holding out a weight as you're singing can really engage these muscles. And try it and let me know how it goes for you, because often that's all we need. So this might be the only tip that you need today, is to engage your core and all the muscles around here, and your tensions might be gone just by doing that. So what you want to do if you have a weight, depending on how heavy your weight is and how much support you need, you can either hold it higher for less support and it being less exhausting. If you hold it lower and if you hold it out more, you're gonna feel more. It's gonna burn in your arms a little bit too, but it's also really gonna engage the muscles around here, and those are really important. If you want, you can also kind of squat down. That will, you will feel it in your thighs too, but again, your core has to be engaged for this. So try to stay straight. You can do both. You can use both. If you feel like you really need to engage those muscles more, do that. And you can use more of this for the higher notes or for the more important notes where you feel more tension, and use less of it. You don't want to be so out of breath that you make singing hard because of that. So make sure that, I'm breathing hard already, make sure that you use it as you need it, but give it a try to see if the tensions up here disappear. So anything that engages the muscles as you're singing, whether it's just you thinking about engaging the muscles, whether it's you pulling something towards you, whether it's you holding a weight, whether it's you squatting, or all of the above, it's gonna really help your body to support itself so that up here doesn't feel like it has to compensate. So that's actually the most important tip, because again, often we don't even have these problems up here when the support is there. So let's move on to number 2, which is tension in the jaw and relaxing the jaw so that our vocal folds can work properly. Often any tension we have up here really goes from one muscle to the next, and the muscles influence each other in a way that restricts the vocal folds, so that we have to work so much harder. And we can hear when someone's tight while they're singing. Now, I know that open vowels like ah, where you already have the jaw open, are a lot easier because naturally the jaw is open. And when we sing words, we have to move our mouth and our lips and our tongue. So there's a way bigger chance of having tension there than when we just sing ah, because we're already open. But there's still a chance that as we're going to the higher notes, we're starting to get tension because we don't know how to get through those notes without tensing our jaw. And most of us don't feel that our jaw is slightly moving forward, and that's usually what creates the tension. So what you wanna make sure of, and there's a few ways to do this, but make sure that your jaw, when it's opening, the normal position for the jaw to open is down and back. Do you see that? It's going back. Nothing like that. And even if it's just minimal and often we don't notice, it does make a difference. So it's good to be very aware of what your jaw is doing. I like to sometimes just have my hands here to feel what my jaw is doing, not to force it, but to just be very aware. And when we are aware of what's happening, we often relax more already. Often it doesn't even take you having to force your jaw in a different position. It's just being aware of what it's doing, and naturally it will relax more. So you can sing certain passages of songs with your hands here just to kind of remind your jaw to stay relaxed. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. You get the gist. The other thing that you can try for higher notes with the jaw, when we sing higher and we go, hey, we could easily tense there and go, hey, right? So what you really want to do is focus on that jaw opening and opening to the back. You can use your finger. There's a trick to do this. You put your finger behind your front teeth here, and your finger should be straight, so it shouldn't be like this. And that will kind of guide your jaw back to where it should be. It looks kind of horrible, all right? But do that and say aloud, punchy hey. Hey, hey, and you can also slide up. Feel into what that feels like. Your jaw should not really feel anything. Your jaw should be relaxed in this position. So that's something for the higher notes that you can do. And you could, obviously you can't sing all the words while you have your finger in your mouth, but you can still kind of practice. Hey, hey, happy birthday to you. And so you notice that only certain vowels will work. So this is an in-between exercises, and a lot of what I do with my students is doing in-between exercises so we can slowly move towards where we want it with it still being easy. So this, getting the jaw in the right position, using the finger here can be really helpful. Also, instead of doing the holding the jaw and feeling it, you can always use a mirror too and just really watch yourself as you're singing. Be close to the mirror and just look at what you're doing. Is your face tight? Is your jaw doing weird things? Is it moving to one side more than to the other? Is it moving forward, which is something that might be easier to figure out if you do this. You can also have a finger here, kind of to just, again, remind your jaw to move back and not forward as you're singing. I also often tell my students to think of the letter A as they're singing. It's a trick for the jaw to be in a more relaxed position even as we're singing other things, or to practice any passage of a song with open vowels first before you go for the actual vowels again. For example, instead of happy birthday to you, happy birthday to ya. It sounds very weird. Happy birthday to ya. And you will find that to be a lot easier. Now, no one wants to sing the song like that, but keep in mind that as we are going higher, we do need to adjust certain vowels anyway. You can listen to any pop or R&B singer when they sing higher or when they belt notes. The vowels become very limited in what they are. A lot of the vowels are eh or ah or ah sounding. They are open vowels because we can't sing or belt really tight vowels up there. It won't work well. They have to be open. So it's not only about releasing the tension, it's also about adjusting the vowels for your vocal range. And I think that will be a separate video, but just keep that in mind. All right, number 3 is your posture and your chin alignment. And this is something I catch myself with a lot too, especially when I look back at videos of me singing. And we all do this to a certain degree at some point, but you just wanna make sure that your posture is overall a good posture and that your chin isn't doing this. And you will see a lot of singers reaching for notes like this. There are famous singers, very well-known singers who do this, but it's not good because when we stretch too much here, again, our vocal folds are restricted. It's gonna sound tight because we're making it so much harder for our vocal folds to stretch and get to those higher notes. So you don't want to do that. What you want to do, and posture is something I have to work on too, what you want to do is you want to be straight. You want to make your spine as long as possible. From here to here, imagine someone's pulling you up from a ponytail, like you are a marionette, like you're a puppet, and they're pulling you up here, and it doesn't really tuck your chin in, but what it makes it is that this part is longer, and now your face is angled like this, and definitely not like this, because this actually makes your spine a lot shorter and bends it. You want to do the opposite. And if you can make yourself long in this way, that will also help you a lot with singing, because again, anytime you reach for the notes like this, you are restricting your vocal folds from stretching, which is what they need to do for higher notes. So make sure you are aware of where your chin is going. Not like this, but like this. Your shoulders should be falling back so that your chest is very open. That looks much better, right? I sit like this a lot. But when we sing, it's important that overall we have a good posture. I'm breathing so hard today because it's so hot in LA right now. So that was a quick tip. It's just about posture. So it's something to keep in mind. Just catch yourself when you do one of these things. When you do too much of bad posture, when you reach for the notes, that's the more important thing. When you reach for the notes like that, just correct yourself. Just be very aware of what you're doing. And then the last thing for today is the tongue and the throat. What I want to say too is a lot of these things influence each other. So often they are all connected. Like I said, if you have proper support here, you might not even need to focus on these things up here because they naturally relax more because the support is there. And also, if the jaw has tension, often it translates to here, and it translates to you feeling like this. So again, starting with one thing and then adding the others or focusing on the next one will kind of give you a good idea of where you're at and what you need to focus on the most. When it comes to the tongue, we often tense it, and that's something that I think is hard to notice because we don't see it. We can't look at it in the mirror as much. We just have to kind of be aware of what it can feel when it is relaxed. So one way to do that, what people do a lot, is stretching out the tongue. You can even hold it. I know that's very weird. You can use a tissue to hold it better, but you might have the pieces on your tongue afterwards. So you don't have to do that, but holding it just really makes sure of you keeping it out. And then you literally just do again, open vowel exercise. You can also try to sing a song with the tongue out. It's again not going to sound like the song exactly because you can't really say or sing the words like you would if you weren't holding your tongue, but it's still a good exercise to kind of feel into what it feels like with less tension in the tongue. So with the same example that I did earlier, again, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. So I'm being really silly for you guys, but you're getting the point. Try that out if you feel like your tongue might have tension, or just stick it out. You don't have to hold it, but naturally we tend to pull it in. So holding it just makes sure of it staying out for this exercise. And then the throat, there is something that some singers call a open throat feeling. To be clear, there is no such thing as an open throat. You have your throat and it is what it is. You can't open it up. But what they mean is the feeling of it being very unrestricted. Basically, that's what it is. What we have in the throat are our constrictor muscles. And our constrictor muscles help us swallow things. So we use them a lot. And they also get engaged when we lift something heavy to protect us. So when we lift heavy notes, we often unconsciously use those constrictor muscles, but literally what they do is they make everything tight here. And again, they constrict the vocal folds. They get in the way of us singing with as much ease as we could, and they make it a lot harder. And they actually, over time, they will harm you if you keep doing both of that, because that's really exhausting for your voice. And it's also not fun, and it also doesn't sound that great. So there's a few ways to get to that open throat feeling. Catherine Sadler's or her book, The Complete Vocal Technique, have a lot of great things in there, but one of the things in there are some tips for how to find that open throat feeling. This is the German version of the book. I can only recommend this if you want to dive more into vocal technique. This is a very specific approach to singing, but I find it, and a lot of people find it, very helpful. I'm just going to read you some of the examples on how to find the open throat feeling, and then you can see what works for you or what might not. Not everything works for everyone, because these are images and sensations more than they are physical things to do. So one thing is to breathe in as if you were about to yawn or sneeze, because that will give you that open feeling here also. To sigh or to whine like that, to laugh quietly. So if you know what I mean, basically it's that feeling that when it's not constricted that we're trying to find. And some of these things you can do as you're singing to help you achieve that as you're singing. To be surprised, to imagine that you're swallowing something very big. And then there's a bunch more. I'm not going to read them all to you. If you're interested in this, I highly recommend. You can buy the book online. I think there are courses for the complete vocal technique. Definitely a great book, definitely a great approach to singing. But to get back to this open throat feeling, the bottom line is that you don't constrict these muscles as you're singing, and that's all. So whatever way is easiest for you to do that, go with that way, whether it's using some of these images or sensations to achieve that, whether it's focusing on all the other three things that I told you first today, or whether it's your own approach to making sure that these muscles are relaxed. The muscles that you use for swallowing, the muscles that you use when you lift something very heavy. Engaging the muscles here, like I said before, often really gets rid of these muscles being engaged here, because this is what our body needs for the support. And a lot of us just aren't aware of how much we really need our body when we sing. So to sum it all up, when we sing with words, it can be harder than when we sing with open vowels, and it usually is, because everything up here, our jaw, our tongue, our lips, they have to move to different positions. For ooh, we need to purse our lips. For e, it feels like we have to go this way more. But keep in mind what position you're in when you have the open vowels, and try to translate that to the other vowels and to the other sounds as well. Hold out the vowels longer than you hold out the consonants. You don't want to stay closed up on an R or on any sort of consonant that closes things, because that makes it a lot harder to have that open sound. But focusing on that relaxed jaw, the vowels, open vowels, especially when you sing higher notes, to change the vowels in a way that make it easier to stay open and relaxed here, and to really engage the muscles here, are your most important things to sing with ease. And I'm so curious to see what happens for you guys when you try even just the supporting your muscles and maybe singing with a weight thing, of how much that releases tension for you. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. Please let me know if this worked for you. Please let me know if you feel tension, where you feel it. I'm so curious to see where you are in your singing journey. And as always, let me know if you have any other questions. Put them in the comments. And don't forget to like this video. I'm so happy you joined me today for this vocal tension lesson, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys, I already stopped filming and I'm eating my ice cream now. I made it up to 3,000 watch hours on YouTube thanks to you guys, and there is now an option to give me a thanks. If you go to any of my videos and you click the 3 dots in the bottom right corner below the video, there's an option that with a heart and a $sign in it that says thanks. So if you do want to thank me in that way, you can now do that. That is how you can support me a little bit with what I do on this channel. So I'd super appreciate it. Obviously you don't have to, so feel free to, but don't feel obligated to. I'm always happy about your comments and about your likes and the fact that you are watching my videos. So yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye.